Hello, my name is Kamanish, and today I will be reviewing The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, Book 1 in the Stormlight Archive. Now, before you get into this video, please be warned this review will be filled with spoilers. So if you have not yet read this book, please do not watch this video. I do not want you to get spoiled on this marvelous, fantastic book. Kaladin, Shallan, Adolin, and Dalinar, and please forgive me if I've said any of those names wrong. Really, this is Kaladin's book. So with the flashbacks, we see Kaladin as he grows up. We see this boy who sort of turns into a man, and we see this surgeon's son who turns into a soldier. And we see how all of that happens. And I think the flashbacks were done quite well. Now, Kaladin Stormblessed in this book is definitely my favorite character. Very lovable, you gotta really love your characters that you're reading about. And Kaladin, very lovable. Also, as someone who's gone through a lot of depression, just seeing Kaladin's journey and like how it goes up and down and up and down, like he's making progress, but like he does have a lot of downs and ups. And seeing that, it's kind of inspiring. And I think it's handled very well in this book. Also, Bridge 4, very lovable. Moving on to Shallan. Now, Shallan is probably my least favorite of the POVs in this book for a couple of reasons. First of all, she's just, I don't know, she can come off as kind of annoying at times with her wittiness. It's often witty, but also kind of rude often, and she's just not the most interesting arc. She doesn't have the most interesting arc in this book, I think. So yeah, Shallan's great, and she's just not the best in this book. I do think near the end, though, Shallan got a lot more interesting with what happens with Kabzal and Jasnah and like how she figures it out. I think that was a really cool moment. Probably one of my favorites in this book. But my favorites always have to go to Kaladin. With I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. Oh, that line is so good. Just the entire last sequence is so good. Adolin and Dalinar. Let's start with Dalinar. He's really this guy who's like this far into his redemption arc. He's gone like from, and we see him about here, and I think he's just wonderful. And let's talk about why. First, he's honorable, and we love honor here. He's just a very honorable person, an honorable Light Eyes. Everyone looks up to him. Well, not everyone. His soldiers look up to him, and a lot of people look down on him because of how honorable he is. And the fact that he just keeps going, keeps being honorable, keeps doing what he thinks is right, that's what's important. Also, the entire Visions thing is very interesting. He's going mad, but he's not really, and it's really cool to just read Adolin. He's a bit of a hothead. He's honorable like his father, but he's young. He's like not as experienced, and he really wants to do something. He doesn't see what point they're making, and he sees that they're going nowhere, and he wants to change that. So yeah, he's a bit of a hothead. He's a bit rash, but I do love him too. He's still a great character. Alright, now that we figured out that all the characters are lovable, even Shallan, let's talk about... Oh, I forgot about Sel. Sel is also lovable. She really complements Kaladin's character in a really, really nice way. Now let's talk about the plot. Now this plot, it pretty much goes like... It's like an exponential function. It goes like... So you can... It's great. It does start off a little bit slower, but it's so good, so fast, and it's wonderful. Yeah, what else is there to say? I mean, I think all of the POVs were handled nicely, though Shallan's is definitely isolated from the others. She's not entirely isolated. Like, you can tell with Jasnah, that everything, she's just getting it moved over soon. Now, let's talk about the prose a little bit. Now, this prose, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's definitely... it takes a little bit of adjusting to, but once you're there, you can read it pretty fast, and it doesn't really, it's not terrible, like I said, it's just not great. It's not even bad, it's mediocre. Yeah, prose, mediocre. Let's talk about the world. And now the world building, it mixes in with the plot a lot. Like, as you figure out more of the world, that moves toward the plot, and I think that's really cool. But the world really is... I'm gonna have to say it's the strongest part of this entire series. Now, most of the world building that's done here is a lot of setup because we don't know much about the magic yet. We don't know much about the Voidbringers or the gods, but what we do see is something that's very clearly planned out beautifully, and I think that's really cool. I think the magic is wonderful. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It didn't make a lot of sense the first time I read this book, but it begins to make sense pretty quickly. I think it's pretty complex. I mean, how there are 10 different orders and they each have different powers. It's a lot to keep track of, but it's also marvelous and beautiful, and I love it. Stormlight is brilliant. Like, how did he think up of that? How did he think that up? I don't know. But it's great. And just even the world, like the grass, how it always like moves away, and the chasm fiends, and it's a wonderful book. And yeah, do I have anything else to say about this book other than it's incredible? If you have somehow not read it but have just watched this entire review, thank you, but go read this book. It's really good. Until next time, goodbye, and thank you for watching.